All right, here is a look at something that kind of showed up as a... Wasn't expecting on doing a review on this one, and I was asked if I'd like to check it out. This is the Optimus Prime Autobot Commander Classic Scale statue from Pop Culture Shock. A little bit more exciting now because they just showed off a Megatron at Comic-Con yesterday, I think. A few days ago, probably by the time you're seeing this online. But showed off a Megatron, a companion piece to this, and I got to check it out. Now, it came in, the actual box came in a much larger shipping box to the point where I thought this was going to be much larger than it was. And it's thankfully not it's not one of the giant, quarter scale, 2 foot tall, 3 foot tall statues that some companies are making. It's an Optimus. So this is just the base. It does come in pieces. And packed very well in the styrofoam. I will say one of these, I think it was this one of these little springs on this, whatever this detritus is supposed to be down here on the base. It's just kind of some junk had snapped off and I was able to reattach it. But one of them. But so be careful with that. I'm not even sure how, because it was one of these ones, not one of these ones, despite the fact that it wasn't really anything to bump against it. But it was rattling around in the box when I opened it. But yeah, so you basically just put it together. There's a big magnet foot on Prime, and that just slots into the base. He's in a running pose, which is a little weird, but also nice to have rather than just standing there in a dramatic pose or holding his gun, he is kind of in motion, which is neat. And you can see the cell shading makes it look a lot like the cartoon here. Then arms, and I like that each of the bits, once you get the body in, this may be magnetic as well, each bit has a little rare earth magnet in it, so it'll hold it in when you do put it all together. So put an arm on there. Head also has a magnet at the bottom of it. Pop that on. And then, so he's got one arm that goes in, and again, the shape of the piece, it's slightly, you can see there's an angled bit of the front, so it only goes on one way. So now, so there's the entire completed statue of him running, firing his rifle. But some really nice paint detailing, and like I said, the cell shading on it is really neat. That's just a piece of styrofoam that came off from inside the packaging, but some nice little window effects and shine effects down his body. Now, the one option you do have here is aside from he's got this gun with the rifle, and he does also have an arm with the translucent or transparent orange axe. That one actually looks murderous because that arm attaches in a way that has him swinging it upward. We need to come up a little bit. So he's really just kind of coming at you screaming with an axe. Is the pose there. But yeah, it's about, with the axe attached all the way up to the very tip top of the axe, it's maybe 12 inches, 11, 12 inches tall. So it's a nice Optimus that isn't so huge that it's going to take up all the display space you've got. I do like the swappable limbs. I'm not 100% on the action. The action pose looks good. I think, from the front, I think you're getting some decent action shots, like Prime in motion, and I like that he's in motion. But from certain angles, he looks okay. I think directly from the side, he looks a little awkward. But it's a nice attempt at having a Prime not just being static and actually looking like he's moving. I'm really curious. I've seen the grayscale prototype, the gray version of the Megatron statue they showed up at Comic-Con. I haven't gone through a lot. Maybe there's some mock-ups of what it looks like painted, but I'd really like to see this up against the companion Megatron piece, because maybe they fit together to form a neat little action shot. But even by itself, it's a pretty nice representation of G1 cartoon Optimus Prime. I like that. I don't know what I'll do with the extra arm when it's not in use. Probably just keep it in the box. Would be, I guess, what you'd have to do with it, because you don't want to break it. But it seems fairly sturdy. I do like the connection points. Like, I don't feel like any of this is gonna pop off or slide off accidentally. Like, it doesn't take a lot of effort to remove the pieces if you want to swap them out, but it also does not happen like they're not sliding out on their own. Like, you do have to use a little bit of effort to get that arm out of there with that magnet. Despite the fact that you can move it easily with the leverage, but it takes a good bit of effort. And even just knocking it, I don't think it's going to knock any of the limbs out without, with the head you'd have to really be working, without you intentionally wanting to remove it. Even a good solid bumper, if somebody knocks it, accidentally swinging their arm around, everything's going to stay attached. So yeah, neat little Optimus Prime. Nice little detail on the base. I'm not really sure what this little orange is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like Spike's miner's hat or something. It's a little electrical box. And I don't know what these are supposed to be, some sort of suspension system. But the Prime itself is actually really nice looking. There is the Pop Culture Shock Classic Scale Optimus Prime statue. And again, there's a Megatron coming. Maybe if those do well, they'll bring in more. You'll probably see Starscream, Soundwave, Bumblebee would be the ones that I would guess would be coming next. I don't know what order. And then, again, depending on if the line does well, maybe you'll see characters like Wheeljack and Thundercracker. I mean, Thundercracker and Skywarp would be easy enough to do, I guess, from if they do a Starscream. Anyway, that's all speculation. We know Megatron's coming, and it looks like he's going to make a nice companion piece to this Optimus.